record some of this. All right, recording in progress. So we are going to do for homework, let's give it a title, problem number 3. And in problem number 3, we did a similar project to this a while back. Oops, typing in the wrong spot. So problem number 3, what we're going to do is we're going to have lists of items to look up. So item lists lookup, and this item list lookup is going to have 2 lists. List number 1 is going to have items that are named, and list number 2 is going to have item prices. And what your script is going to do is it's going to ask somebody to pick one of the available items, and you will then look up the price for them and say the price is what you're going to do. And I'll give you some tips on that in a second. Problem number 5 for homework is going to write a program to double the numbers of a list. And for this one here, those doubles are going to go in a new list. I don't want you to overwrite the original list. So you'll end up with 2 lists here. You'll have the original list. And then you're going to have a new list of doubles. All right, now I'm typing this stuff up in here, my expectations. You don't need to retype those things underneath, but you do need to make sure that stuff happens. Question number 8 in the book is going to be have a user enter 8 numbers. And what you're going to do is you're going to put them in a list, but without duplicating anything. Okay. So if somebody enters 1, 2, 3, you're going to put the 1, 2, 3 in there. If they enter 2 again, you're going to say, sorry, we already got 2. Please enter another number. Okay. So you're going to have the user, again, you're going to have to keep asking over and over again, give me a number. Then you want to get 10 numbers, and none of the 10 numbers are duplicates. Okay. So your script shouldn't just fail if they repeat a number. It should ask for another one until you get 10 valid numbers that aren't duplicates. So you're going to have to warn and ask again in your script. Okay, so you're going to have some testing involved. You got some looping involved there, building the list. So I'm going to do a couple of similar things right here. The easiest one of these is number 5. 3 and 8 are the harder ones, but they're not too hard. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make a, so I'm going to do something similar to problem 8 first. I want to make a list that, or make a script that takes a given list of numbers and makes a new list of only the numbers that are unique. Okay, which is similar to what you're going to do for problem 8. So I'm going to bring up a new Scratch project to work with. I'm going to call it similar to 9-8. All right, so I'm just going to write down on paper what I want to do first, because that always helps me make my programs better. So my goal here is to, it's supposed to be an L, look at a list of numbers. And then from that, I want to make a new list of unique numbers. Oh, that reminds me of a really stupid joke. Anybody want to hear it? Sure. How do you catch a unique duck? You sneak up on it. That's right up there with these two peanuts were walking down the street and one was assaulted. Okay, let's go make this happen. So to do this, to look at a list of numbers, we need to loop through. So we're gonna have a repeat. And the repeat, we're gonna have to look at each line, each row in there. So that repeat's gonna need some kind of a counter. So I'm gonna need a variable in there for the position. And I think it's just enough to repeat as many times as there are numbers in the original list. So I think I can just repeat length of numbers. So let's suppose my numbers are 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 7, 2. Maybe this is my original list of numbers. And I want to transform that into a new list called unique. And one at a time, I'm just going to look at the numbers. I'm going to say, hey, do I have 3 yet? If I don't have 3, I'm going to put it in. Then I'm going to go over to 5. Do I have 5? Nope, put it in. Do I have 7? Nope, put it in. Do I have 1? Nope, put it in. Do I have 3? Don't need it, right? Because I can see I got it over there. Do I have 7? Oops. Uh-oh, what did I do? There we go. Do I have 7? I got it. Don't need it. Do I have 2? Nope, not in there, so I can put it in. So next we got to see is, well, what Scratch tools are there for doing this comparison here inside my repeat loop? Okay. Am I going to need 2 loops, or does Scratch have tools that will do what I want? Aiden, what's up?
So what I just thought of when you were saying that.
Yep.
So you know on Scratch how you can make lists.
Yes.
So you can have it, so there's an contains a block and you can
Yes.
use that.
There's a contains. Nice. All
And
right.
if your
Let's do it.
and if your one list, your unique list already contains it, you won't add it.
Perfect. All right, let's make that happen. So we're going to make 2 lists. We're going to make one list called numbers. And I'm going to make another list called unique. Now, alternately here, I could delete when I find duplicates, but I kind of want to know what the original list was and what the new list. And I can give you some applications as to why in just a minute. All right, so I'm going to need those, and I'm just going to turn unique off for the moment. And then I'm just going to put some numbers in like I had a minute ago. So 7, 5, 3, oops. Let's see if I hit enter in between. 7, 5, 3, 7, 1, 3, 2. So I got a couple of duplicates in there. And I want to be able to rewrite that list. And I've got my position there. So I'm just going to get the basics started for this. For sure, I want to get the script started with a flag. And then I'm going to need a repeat. So I'm going to drag that out. And then my variable needs a little bit of work. So we should set our position. I'll put that on the top. And since I'm counting positions and list starts with a 1, I'm going to start position at 1. All right. So let's take a look at things we have to use here. Aiden mentioned that there is a contains for a list, which is nice because I can look to see if unique contains a number I'm looking at or not. So I'm definitely going to use contains. I need length of my numbers list to loop through it. So I'm going to put that in right away. And then I need to get things out of numbers. So I have the item 1 of numbers. So I'm going to need that too. What else? We're going to need to add things to our unique list. And I think that might be it for now. And then I have to do a check. So I have to have an if block in there. And since it's either going in the list or if it doesn't, I don't really care. It just doesn't. So I don't really need an else. I think I just can get by with an if here. Because I only have one thing that's going to happen. So inside my block, I'm going to put the if. And so then I want to just see as I go through here if unique contains something. Now, what am I looking for it to contain? I'm checking to see if it already has some item from numbers. Which item? Well, the item at whatever position I'm looking at that time. So what I want to do is, again, as I look through my list, position is 1. I need a block that's going to look in that position to see what's there. So first it's going to see a 7. And then I want to know if unique contains that thing. Now, if it does contain that already, I don't want to do anything, right? So then you might think, oh, we need an else to deal when it doesn't contain it. But the better option here is in your operators to grab a not block. Now we've just made a does not contain. So that's really what I want. If unique doesn't have the number I just found, then I want to add it in. Oops. What do I want to put in there? I want to put the item I just found that wasn't there. So I'm just going to duplicate this item block and stick it here. So you've seen me use not a few times before. Sometimes it makes the logic of the script easier. Without the not, I would have, if it does contain it, don't do anything. Else, okay, now put it in. But then that's a waste of time. I just did a step I didn't have to do. But if I throw the not in there, I just need an if then, and the else is not necessary. And often when I'm going through the logic of a script, I realize, after I made the if then else, like, oh, I could just reverse it and just do an if and not have the else. Much easier logic. So that's a nice trick. All right. I think that does it.
Change position by 1.
Oh yeah, change position by 1. I'm classic at forgetting that later on. So change position by 1 goes outside the. Whether we added something to unique or not, we need to keep looking at the original list of numbers, which I'm counting through right here. Okay, now it's probably going to work. Let's see. So I'm going to turn unique back on. Unique is empty at the moment. If I rerun this, I probably should have a clear it. So I'm going to add in the beginning here, just in case unique has stuff in it. I'm going to delete unique. Wasn't completely necessary because it had stuff in there. Oh, it's got a blank right now. Let's get rid of the blank. There we go. Now it's empty. And if I click the flag, it should grab just the unique numbers. And so I had 7 numbers, I had 2 repeats, and so now I see 5 numbers in there and they're not repeats. So it turned out Scratch made this relatively easy to do with that contains block. Other things I could do with this. Often when I give a test in a class, people want to know, well, how many A's were there? How many B's were there? How many C's were there? Right? That kind of collection that there were, say, 3 A's and 5 B's and 7 C's and so on, that's an idea in math called a histogram. So I could turn this into a histogram by counting how many 7s I saw, counting how many 5s, 3s, 1s, and 2s, and have that in another list next to this called counts. And then I would know how many 7s there were, how many 2s there were, how many 1s there were, and so on. Okay. So I would just need 2 more things to do that. I would need a counter variable for each number. And then I would need another list to put those counts in. Okay. I'm not going to go over that right now. It's about twice as hard as this was here, but it's not too bad. Spreadsheets have a command that does that called frequency, if anyone's used a spreadsheet for statistics type stuff. frequency does exactly what I just said. So we could tell Scratch to do the same thing. What's the frequency of all the numbers in the list? How many times does each number occur? What are the unique numbers? All right, questions on this one. So this is similar to, it's a twist on what question 8 was asking about in terms of, but question 8's a little bit different. Instead of getting a list of predefined numbers, you're going to ask the user for them. You're going to have to add a check in there that if the number is already there, you have to ask them for another number. And you're going to repeat until you have 10 numbers in your list. Okay, that's going to be the twist on that. Yeah, you're going to have a repeat until you get 10 numbers in your list. All right. Next, I wanted to do something similar to the grocery store. I'll talk to you about it in just a minute. I want to show the grocery store thing, and then we'll have time to play with other stuff. The other day, we did the days of the week. If you happen to have that, bring it up. If not, you can check out mine. So I'm going to make sure this is saved. Save. And then I'm going to go to my stuff. And somewhere here, where did I put it? Not string play. Let's see, maybe it's in my 9.2. I have my day list. Cool. Okay. So this was related to try it out 9.2 before. So what do I want to do with this? I'm going to make a new version. So let's copy this. And you don't need to necessarily copy it, but you can. Where is, oh, there, save a copy. And I'm going to call this menu. So what I want to do is, you know how you go to a restaurant and they have a menu that says on Mondays, this is the special, on Tuesdays, this is the special, and you get a deal on it. So I want to set up something like that in Scratch. So how would I go about doing that? Well, I would need a variable for the days of the week. And so I have a variable for that here. And then I would need another one with food. And I had that the other day, but somehow I lost track of it somewhere. Oh, this block here about color value. I don't know if you noticed in Scratch, pen colors are different than color effect, which is slightly different than the color picker in Scratch. So the color picker has like 17 million colors to work with. Let's see, the pen color has 100 different colors to work with, I believe. And the color effect has 200 different color effects you can run through. So I was double checking whether that was true, because the Scratch wiki said it was true, but sometimes things are out of date. So that was just messing around. I'm going to pull this off there. I need to make a new list to make this happen. And like your problem number 3, you're going to have 2 lists also. And here I'm going to call it menu items. And in the menu items, I want to have a special for each day. So I'm just going to make up some specials right now for each day. So let's see, Sunday can be eggs and ham. Monday's going to be chili. And Tuesday is going to be burgers. And Wednesday, how about some pasta? Friday, soup of the day, soup. Or let's say I'm on Thursday. And then Friday, when I was in college, Friday was pizza day. Went out for pizza and beer. Always had a designated driver, by the way. Very important. Sure. And Saturday, let's see, Saturday, we got to recover from the pizza and beer, so we're just going to have oatmeal. Keep it simple. All right. And I think instead of menu items, that's fine name. All right. So let's get this out of the way. Actually, I don't even need any of that anymore. That was something else. That can go too. This is a new project. All right, so what I want to do is I want to ask somebody to, so I'm going to hide menu items for now. And I want to ask, pick a day to get the special. So we're going to put sensing in there. We're going to say select a day of the week for the special that day. And then we'll have to deal with the answer. So my hope is they entered a day of the week, and I have a way to check that because Scratch has some blocks about seeing if things are inside of the list. We just used that. So I want to come down here and I want to know if day list contains what they said. Okay. So if it does, then we get to use it. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to have to say, well, that's sorry, that doesn't work. So I'll deal with that in a minute. And then the other thing is I need to look into the list for it. So I want to get the item number of the day that they pick. Why do I need the item number for it? Well, I need to find the matching row in the other table. So item number is essential to do that. Okay. Otherwise, I'd have to do something lame like say 1 for Sunday and say 2 for Monday, which when you call up certain companies, they ask you to do that. They give you a menu, enter 1 to reach shipping, enter 2 to reach customer support, things like that. Not a bad thing, but we don't have to do that here because we can grab the item number. Right. So what's going to happen? So somebody enters answer is Monday. This right here says, okay, we want to find the item number of Monday in the day list, and it's going to come back and this will say 2. And then we just want to look that up in the other one. So then I want to go back to my variable blocks. Well, the if then statement will be to check if it's an actual day of the week. So we have a checker. So that's our checker for that. So let's see, we want item blank of not day list, but the menu items. And so we're just going to take the number we found from the days of the week and drop it in there to get the appropriate menu item. Okay. So this gives us the number for the day of the week. We feed that number to menu items, and then item blank of menu items will say, like for Monday, it should reply back with chili, because that's the second item there. So this is going to connect those two lists together. All right, so what do I want to do with all of that? Let's start putting it together. I think what I want to do is a repeat until on this, because I want to have them actually enter a proper day. If I didn't care about that, I could just scrap that block and forget about it and just pray they enter a proper day. But I like checking user input. So control, I want to do a repeat until. And I want to repeat until the day list contains something they typed. Now, what that means is the question needs to go inside the loop.
So
There we go.
does that mean if they were to not capitalize Sunday, it wouldn't work?
Scratch is not case sensitive.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, so that's a benefit. Scratch is not case sensitive. So in other programming languages, they are. And so the way we deal with that, like if we don't care about the case, but the computer language does, there's usually a block or some code in there that says just make everything lowercase. So we do a lowercase comparison on whatever somebody typed to a lowercase comparison on things that are on our list.
It is sensitive.
And so then we don't have to worry about it. But sometimes we do want to be case sensitive. It just depends. Like if we were doing a password checker, that should be case sensitive. But a lookup like this should not be case sensitive. So that's always something to consider in other languages. Scratch, unfortunately, doesn't do that. Okay. Is there a way to get around that in Scratch? I don't know of one, but there's a lot of creative people out there. So somebody might have come up with a solution there. All right, so we're going to repeat until, so we're going to ask in here. I guess we need to ask outside too, don't we? Because we need to get the answer to check. And then we'll ask again inside. So let's grab that and duplicate it. And we're gonna put that, that's gonna end up in the bottom of that repeat. And then, let's see. Is that really the logic I want? Let's try it and see. I should have wrote this out on paper first. Next thing I want to do is I think I just need to grab a say block. So say, yeah, I'm not sure I want to use repeat until here. Now that I think about it. I want to say, and I'm going to make, yeah, I think I might want to use an if then instead. But let's run this and see what happens. I want to say, I'm going to put a couple things in here. I want to say Tuesday special is whatever. So I need a block to get, let's see, I think I need a few joins. I think I'm going to need 4 for the sentence I want. So I'm going to do something like the special on space, whatever their answer is. And then, oops, space is space. And then that's where I want to say whatever I found in the lookup, right? So this is my lookup in the other table for a matching row block right there. Okay, and then for now, I'm going to pull that repeat until out because my brain's telling me that's a mistake. And I'm just going to do that. The special, an extra letter in there. So the special Monday is chilly, is what should happen there. All right, let's run that and see what happens. Let's hide those so I can see my sprites. Hello, pants with nobody inside them. And run, select the day of the week, Monday. The special Monday is, it didn't work. Okay, I get an error in here somewhere.
If you didn't type it right.
Oh, I typed Monday. Ha! That helps. Okay. Monday. I guess I need that checker in there, don't I? Special Monday is chilly. Let's try it again. Special for Sunday. And I shouldn't have to capitalize it. The scratch is not case sensitive. Ham and eggs and ham. Okay. So it looks like that part's running right. So then the next part would be the logic of did they enter a day of the week or not? And I don't think the repeat until is going to work right. So let me rethink this. So repeat until. No, actually, I think that will work okay. So if it is a day of the week, this is automatically true, and it's going to jump out of that and come out here, and I can do the say. If they enter something like Monday, then it's going to jump in the loop, get Monday, and then it's going to come back out and check, is it in the list? Okay, I think that will work. Let's try it. Monday. Okay, so I should rephrase the question, like that's not a day of the week, please try again. But it is asking the question again, so that's good. So it's probably working. No. Selective day of the week. Select a day. Oops. Key. Capitalized day there. All right. Run it. M for Monday. No. Tuesday. Yes. And it's done. Cool. All right, that's all I had for you for today. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is finishing anything you didn't do in the reading assignment and then get started on those homework questions. If you get stuck on a homework question, let me know. I'll try to point you in the right direction. Keep up the good work.